am with St. Mark's Episcopal Church, just across the parking lot. How wonderful to see everybody that's here. I believe there's more here tonight than there were at our first meeting, and the first meeting was pretty impressive. So it's wonderful to see all this energy and all of you responding to the Spirit to come forward. At the end of our previous meeting, we had some next steps. So I'd like to revisit those before we have people come up and talk about our topics tonight. Does everybody have an agenda? Are all the agendas on the tables? We need some agendas over here. Rick, do you have? Okay. I think this table needs some. Excellent. So at our previous meeting, Union City Congregational Church provided us with the energy to say, let's do something, you guys. And so our next step was to find out what kind of action the Congregational Church in Union City has done. What, do you want to say anything?
We're ready.
You're ready.
Yeah, we haven't facilitated any more than that, other than to just say, let's go. You know, we're waiting for some resources to say they need a place to stay.
So, right. So what we need to do is getting those our ducks in a row, and when we're all set to go, you will open the door.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Another next step was to hire a new director for Family Hope, and there was some discussion, and I think that someone is going to talk a little bit maybe more about this, but the director has not been hired. It's been put on hold because we would like to be a little more organized before we do that. But that may be talked about a little bit later. Another next step was to explore Family Promise. And we are delighted to have Lindsay Moore here. She is a regional director from Family Promise. Where is Lindsay? There she is. Okay, and she will talk a little bit later. And our fourth next step was to have this meeting on Thursday, January 9th. So it seems that things are moving along. We've got a couple organizations here that are already providing some service to people affected by homelessness in this community. So I would like Melissa Austin first to say a few words about Coach Edie Center, if you would.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Austin with the Pease Youth and Family Center. I've been with the organization for about 6 months, but it has been around for over 10 years now, and it's done some incredible things in our community. One of the biggest things was last year was being able to have the warming center there, which will be available again this year. And as it's needed, as the temperatures continue to drop, if that does happen around here this year, we will be there for everyone. The biggest thing in being able to make that happen is the volunteers and the bringing the community together. And I know last year it happened so quickly and so easily with everyone. So as those temperatures drop, just be on the lookout or be reaching out to us, asking if there's anything that anybody can do. Because between having volunteers there with anybody that needs a place to stay, also having people to help prepare the food and serve the food, those are all the great ways that you can help the EB Center and being able to do that.
So, Melissa, one of the things that we have some sign-up sheets. You might want to make a sheet that people could put their contact information on if they're interested in helping specifically with your warming center.
That would be great.
Okay?
I have a question. Is that a 24/7?
It was, yeah, last year it was. So, and again, it all depends on the temperatures. Everything that we do at the center is pretty much volunteer ran. So, as long as everybody comes together and helps us, we can do many great things there. So.
We can't let this mild winter fool us. We know it's coming.
Okay, I have a point to make too. Not all of us are from Coldwater, so please don't, if you are a speaker, please don't speak as if you expect everyone knows exactly what's going on. For example, what is the warming center? When is it open? Da-da, da-da, da-da. That would be very helpful to those of us who are outside the city.
Well, last year, it kind of came together with the help of Ms. Pease-Huffman over there. She had, oh, sorry. Last year, it actually came together with Kim Hemker with the shelter. She's the one who actually approached Kathy at the ED Center and said, do we have anything like this in our community to be able to do this? And through her and through all of the support at the ED Center, that's how it really got started. And after that, Kathy had contacted Tim Miner with the emergency services, who got in touch with the Red Cross, who eventually came in and helped us. They're the ones who provided all of the cots and the bedding and things like that for us to be able to have that in our gym. Has everyone been to the ED Center? Do you know? We have a commercial kitchen there where we can serve food. We also have a very large gym where it has a capacity for 299 people. So if we're able to provide those services, we do. We are also a nonprofit, so anything that we do is all through donations and anything else that we can do for that. We also do provide a Coats for Kids program and families. We've already given over 600 coats this year, and that's almost doubling last year already, and winter hasn't even begun. So a lot of great programs that we try to do there. We hosted our community Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners 2 years in a row. We had over 150 per each of those, so a lot of great things to do that.
So does the warming center open when it's at 15 degrees? Or?
Yeah, when last year it was during the polar vortex when we knew that we needed to have a warming center. That's when that all came about. Kim, you might be able to help with that a little more.
Actually, I think what you're looking for is when would it be open exactly and those kind of things. Like in Calhoun County, they have that all laid out. We have just been fortunate that we have a spot and that Coach Evie Center was willing and able to open it. So that's really going to be based on need. So right now, you know, if the city says this is really a need, then they're willing to open as long as we have the people and bodies and everything, and we know that'll come together. So that's how it started.
So one of the wonderful things that's happening in this process is there's several groups that are coming together tonight, wanting to provide service in different ways. So there's the warming center, there'll be like an emergency warming center, is what I hear you talking about. Another warming center that we have in our community is Genesis Outreach Ministries, and Paul and Tina Pope are going to give us their description. Yep. There are sticky notes on the tables. If you have questions, write them down on the sticky note so they can be addressed at the end of the meeting.
I'm from Genesis Outreach Ministries. I'm the director, and we're trying to open a warming center here in town. We're trying to open a warming center here in town that will be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll supply hot meals to anybody who comes in, men, women, children, families. We've set it up so we have different areas. So if a family comes in, let's say their house caught on fire and somebody can't put them somewhere, then we got a room downstairs where they can go until, you know, hopefully we can find them somewhere to go. We got more than one stage of this. We're going to have 24-hour staff at this building because we got to do a lot of repairs and hope to get it open on time. We're working on that now. And then we have a shelter that's behind it that we got to go in front of the city council on the 20th to get a special use permit for that. We're going to house probably at least 12 men there that actually want to change their lives and better themselves, get jobs, get back on their feet. And then we're going to have the pantry beside it, which is going to offer, I'm actually working with Terry. We're working with her on the days that they're going to be closed. We're going to have our pantry open, and it's going to be open different hours, like 5 to 9, so people that work, that are still struggling, can come in and get food. We're going to supply transportation to and from work. We got people volunteering to get them jobs. We got the Hillsdale Beauty College is willing to cut their hairs for free. We got a doctor wanting to see all the guys coming through, treat them, get them all. So, and we got a lot of people pulling together on this to get this going because it's a need that we need in this county. So, I guess that's basically it. That's something you want to add? I know you say after basic. Oh, and I got a list here, I'll put some up there on the table of things that we need to get open. I'm trying to be open by the third week of this month. It's running a little tight, but we're getting closer every day. I mean, we got the water turned on today, so that was the big thing. And we just got to get some paint and some drywall up and get the roof looked at, but it's looking good. So I got a list of things that we do need to get open that I will put out there if anybody feels like donating, or if you guys just want to come to volunteer to see what we got going on, or if you just want to walk through and see how it's set up, that's great, because community support's what's going to make this work. So, and it's a community problem. We all got to get together behind this to stop this, these people from being cold and hungry. So, it's at the corner of Hudson and Church Street. It's 54 North Hudson. It's the old Genesis building. The building's going to be called Genesis Outreach Ministries and Warming Center. And I think it's going to be, I mean, we're not even open yet. We already got people calling us, so so the need is definitely there. Yeah, we got 3 people working, homeless people over there working right now to get it open. That's how great the need is right now. So I just want to say that about it. And, if anybody wants to come over and volunteer, whatever you can do to help is great, because that's what we need to get going.
Your donations for the pillows and blankets also?
Yeah. We're taking donation for pillows and blankets. They can't sleep in this area because we got to get a sprinkler system, but they can go in there, sit, eat, watch TV, whatever they need to do. And they can sit on the pews, and if they doze off on the pews with a blanket, then that's fine, but I can't let them sleep there yet because I don't have the sprinkler systems in. So that's an optional. We're kind of grenaded right now. We're just trying to get it open so people can get off the streets and get something warm to eat and some warmth. So we are 501c3. We are 501c3. We got our Michigan tax exempt as well. We do have a board, so everything goes through the board. So I mean, we're set up pretty good. I mean, as far as what we're planning on doing, it's just we just got to get everybody to come together and get behind this.
Who's eligible to? Do they have to be a resident of Orange County, or from anywhere?
I'm not gonna turn anybody down. If they come there hungry, I'm gonna feed them and I'm gonna let them come in out of the cold. I'm not gonna say just because you're from Hillsville County you can't eat, or you can't come in and get warm. And that's what's good about us. Anybody can come in there. That's why we're having rooms in the basement. So if a family comes in there with kids, some people don't feel comfortable with their kids around strange people. So we're gonna have a room set downstairs where they can go in there and still eat, get warm, and make sure that they feel safe. Their kids are gonna be safe as well. So I mean, we really thought this out. We're gonna have. We're working with other groups. Michigan Works is gonna come in and do a job readiness for us. We're going to have life skill classes, AA, so we're trying to give them the tools they need to be successful. A lot of people think just because they're homeless or they've been in trouble that nobody's out there to back them up, but they need to know that they're still part of this community, and if we don't band together and help them, and who's going to, it's just going to drag our whole community down. So.
Other questions for Paul? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next on the agenda, we would like to know who's here. I know that there are several churches that are involved with Family Hope, and I have a list here, and I wonder, the Congregational Church from Union City is there. Awesome, thank you. Tree Church, Matt and Jess, and they are here. Union City Church, Quincy. Is there anybody?
It's Union Church.
Oh, excuse me. I said it wrong. I have it written that way. Union Church, Quincy. Okay. Thank you for being here. Lockwood Church. Thank you. Coldwater Free Methodist. So if anybody knows anybody from Coldwater Free Methodist, you might want to check with them, see if they are interested in coming together with us. Bethel Gilead. Thank you for being here. Community of Christ, Coldwater. So if anybody knows people from Community of Christ, you might want to say, hey, we are moving forward. And in moving forward, we would like to know what churches are here that are not officially involved with Family Hope, but you're interested in doing something in the future with us. You can see where we're going, and who do we have? I know St. Mark's Episcopal Church is here.
And we're from Gerard.
Gerard Methodist. Somebody writing this down, Kathy? Are you? That would be great. Okay, thank you, Terry. Who else is here? Okay.
Peace Lutheran Church, we're a partner church. Peace Lutheran Church of Fremont, Indiana, we're a partner church with Bethel Gilead, and should be on your list.
Okay.
You are on the list. I called you.
Okay, very good. It just didn't make it to my list.
And we've got several here from the Coldwater United Methodist Church as well.
And thank you so much for the space tonight to have this meeting. Who else is here?
My name is Joe, and this is my wife Sherry Scott. We're from Coldwater. We belong to New Heart Ministries. We sit under Gaylord and Shireen Van Aken. And we're basically here representing them tonight on a fact-finding mission, I guess you could say. So we're here to try to garner as much information as we possibly can. I'm actually, my wife and I have ministered a lot to the homeless. We're up from Ohio. There's a shelter in Angola called Turning Point. We were part of that for 3 years. So just to put a shout out, if there's anyone here from Indiana that looks for a shelter for homeless people, it's Turning Point Homeless Shelter, and it's very well organized and very well run.
And that's Steuben County?
Yes, Steubenville, or Steuben County. Okay, but we're representing Gaylord and Shireen, so.
Thank you for being here. Who else is here? Okay.
Hi, my name is Ed Nicely, and I'm the chaplain from the Branch County Jail and the Forgotten Man Ministries. And we have a lot of homeless people that need a place to go. I had 2 men just a few weeks ago that got released from here that were sleeping under the viaduct out here during this cold weather. And I tried getting as many blankets and food as I could, but couldn't find any place to go. So I just want you guys all to remember there's people being released out there every week that don't have a place to go. I took 2 guys up to the shelter in Battle Creek, and they both ended up in the hospital getting beat up because they got connected with a rough group up there. So it's something that's very well needed in the county, and I hope we can get something that's sustained for a long time. So.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing up the idea of all the different populations that are affected by homelessness. Who else is here?
Dave Pierce from First Baptist.
In Coldwater? Yeah. Good. Who else?
Pat Laurel with Northview Christian Church.
I'm Sherry Burge with Jacobswell Ministries, and we work here in Coldwater at the Coldwater Free Methodist Church. So I'm not an official representative from the Coldwater Free Methodist Church, but can definitely take this back to them. And we help people in Branch County with housing needs as well as many other needs.
So I just took a quick count. I think we have twice as many people here tonight than we had at our first meeting. And we're all concerned, and we all want a place for people to go tonight, right? Isn't that right? But there are things that we have to do to make sure that we're successful. It's not a Band-Aid that we're putting on this. So we have to be deliberate about what we're doing. So thank you for being here. So with that in mind, we have Lindsay Moore, who is from Family Promise, and we're going to have her share some information.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Lindsay, and I represent the National Family Promise Organization. And I'm so thankful to be part of this conversation tonight. Because 30 years ago, lives started changing because of a conversation. Because of a conversation one woman had with a sandwich and a woman who needed a sandwich, who was standing on the side of the road with no place to go. Fast forward 30 years, and across the country there are more than 200 affiliates with the Family Promise Network focused on helping families facing a housing crisis regain stability and maintain stability. And here in your community tonight, there are countless children who don't have their own bed to sleep in, may not have their own space to sleep in. And last year alone in this community, you had nearly 400 school-aged children who didn't know where they were going to sleep, do homework, eat their meals, if they were going to be able to sleep at all. And if you look into those statistics, those kiddos don't do well at school. Because when you're worried about where you're going to eat or sleep or do homework, or if your parent's going to be safe or if you're going to be safe, there's no other focus than that. And every night, churches around the world, around the country, change those families' lives with conversation at dinner. Around tables just like these, where families are sitting down with families and just chatting. They bring a meal, they share a meal, but it's about so much more. It's about changing those lives, the lives of those children and families who don't have a safe space to call home. So we are here again tonight to be part of this conversation, to answer questions, be part of this community solution. That's the direction taken. So I am willing to answer questions about what Family Promise is, what the service model looks like, what the impact is. We have an 88% success rate nationally for the number of families who enter into the programming and successfully graduate and maintain stability. So are there any questions? Go ahead.
What type of startup or restart resources would you be able to provide new Family Promise program?
Our focus would be on building the framework of policies, making sure that the appropriate folks are at the table having the right conversations about finances, leadership, direction, mission, vision, and focus, and helping to guide those conversations so that they're in line with what we call our standards of affiliation. And making sure that the conversation is two-way at all times. So those are the base goals that we have to kind of come in alongside this process, if given that opportunity. Yes, ma'am?
Lindsay, I'm Nancy Davis from this church, and we were very involved in it up until the last few years. Here's a question. Is the model, does it have to have the same model, and maybe each city is different, where we're moving the families from church to church? Is it possible to have one location for these? And then I think it's easy to get the food and the meals to them if they were in one location. Is that outside a Family Promise model or not?
No, is the short answer. So in the 30 years, what we have learned is that not every community is set up to host what we call the rotational model. The rotational model includes church to church moving each week. The model that you were talking about is what's called a static site model. And it is an option. There are also hybrid models that operate out there where the day center becomes the static site for a designated period of time, and then the rotational model picks up the rest of the calendar year. And again, it's really based on what this community structure wants to do. Static site locations take typically more planning, more insurance, infrastructure, and finances and commitment to staffing than a rotational model. So we are set up to support the growth and development of either model.
Thank you.
I have a question. What's the relationship between Family Promise and Family Hope Outreach?
So there existed an affiliation, an official affiliation for many years predating Family Hope Outreach. Family Hope Outreach is something that Matt will talk about a little bit. Matt is here tonight and is on the board of directors and is involved with the Family Hope Outreach and its mission. But Family Hope Outreach was born of Family Promise, and the evolution was not necessarily something that was anticipated, but we are happy to look at what the future model looks like with the folks that are at the table right now. So the relationship is one that had been severed, and we are in the process of discussing what rebuilding looks like. Yes.
So along with that, and maybe Matt will explain that, so are they running Family Hope Outreach just as a doing business as under Family Promise? So it's really still Family Promise, only it's a doing business as, because that would be the 501c3. So
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
It's actually PIHN.
So Barry Interfaith Hospitality Network, and for those who are playing along at home, Interfaith Hospitality Network is our original name, but that's a mouthful, and it doesn't really give good representation to our commitment to families, which is what sets us apart from many other sheltering organizations across the country. So that's why we switched to Family Promise. So there's a little bit of flavor from all of those. And I think Pat Morrill has been a part of all of those flavors. So, you know, if there's institutional knowledge needed, she is the person to ask.
I do have another question.
Sure.
Sorry.
No apologies.
When we were here last month, Colleen Knight from the Community Foundation, the local Branch County Community Foundation, said that there is state and federal funding that will support this, whatever this is going to become, as long as it's structured correctly. And I know a lot of it's, it's people donating. Are other Family Promises set up structurally enough so that they can get some of that state and federal funding?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The dictation of the acceptance of government money is really predicated on the board and what the board decides. Government money requires certain things for entry, program entry, and so each board of directors gets to identify its goals and set forth that affiliate's direction. So yes, absolutely, there are support systems in place to apply for that money, and then how to manage that money. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Kathy, from the continuum of care, can you talk about MISTA or what money would be there?
Nothing like putting me on the scene.
Yeah. You could say no.
No.
So we can save that for another meeting.
There is some emergency solution grant money from MISTA that we've had for decades. And the primary purpose of that money is for homeless programs, homeless prevention, homeless awareness, and for shelter type situations. So up until this last year, Family Promise did qualify for that funding. So that is still a possibility.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
As I've been listening, I understand that, there's a emphasis being placed on meeting the physical needs of people that are struggling in the situations that they find. But is there any emphasis being placed on the spiritual aspect of ministering to them, because my wife and I, one of the things that they do at Turning Point over in Angola is they require the people that come into their shelter, they're required to go to like Bible classes in the morning, and they bring in guest speakers. Me and my wife were sort of guest speakers there. We used to go in and minister at night, but that was a requirement in order to be able to be eligible to be a part of that. Is there any type of, I'm sitting here listening, is there a focus on that aspect of their general well-being?
So for Family Promise is a national program. We are not a faith-based organization. Our focus is on the meeting of the immediate physical need of the families that are in crisis. But we are, of course, deeply rooted in the faith community. And what's most important to us is the families see the action of those who are being the hands and feet of Christ versus hearing the words repeated over and over again. Because it's important to understand that every person going through a challenge has a different faith background, and we don't understand what trauma they may have encountered along the way and what they may or may not be triggered by in a church or worship type setting. So we want to be very respectful to their trauma history and focus on repairing that trauma and allow, again, those actions to speak louder than words. Go ahead.
I guess over the years that I've been a part of the Family Promise, I understand your concern, and I kind of am against the requiring the thing, but I have seen and know people who have come to Christ that I have seen later at Walmart or wherever that have come back, and it's like they were so thankful, and they're living for Christ, and they're serving Christ, and it's because of somebody they met. Some were our church, some were other churches, but during Family Promise, because of the love that they saw. And I think that speaks so much more than any meeting. So that is an important part of it, but it's just gone about in a different way.
Thanks. Very well put. Okay, any other questions? I don't want to be, I'm happy to remain until the end of the meeting. So if there are questions you want to ask privately, please feel free. And of course, Matt and Jess have my contact information, and it's publicly available on the interwebs. But I don't want to, again, encroach, so I'll turn.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. So we also have here tonight Matt Jones, who is currently working with Family Hope as it is. And so we need you to tell us what you're doing, Matt.
All right, well, I'm going to stand up here. I don't mean to make you jump out of the way, Pastor. Sorry about that. I'm used to talking behind one of these things. I don't know, it's habit. So, first of all, I just want to thank all the churches that are here. I want to thank all the churches, especially the churches that have helped Family Promise /Family Hope /BIH that have helped in the past. I want to thank you for all your service. Not only to the people, but to Jesus, because we know the Bible tells us when we feed the hungry, when we spend time with those that are down and out and are hurting, that we're actually doing it unto the Lord. And so I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you to everyone else in the community that have come tonight, just to see what's going on and see how you can be a part, because honestly, we can't do this without you. We can't do it without this entire community coming together. Again, my name is Matt Jones. I pastor Trees Church. My wife, Jess, and I. She's not up here tonight because she just recently had a surgery on her vocal cord. So she just handed me the mic and said, go for it. So I said, thank you. So anyway, I also wanted to, well, I'll finish by explaining why I'm here on behalf of Family Hope. So we were asked to be a part of the board here, I don't know, it was about a year ago, something like that. And when my wife and I got on the board, it was like, holy smokes, what did we just walk into? You know, it was just kind of, there's a lot of craziness happening. And in that, the organizations had stepped back from being connected with Family Promise. But we are in conversation right now with Lindsay about reconnecting. We've even been talking about how they wouldn't require any financial down payment to be a part, that they would help us until we get to the place where we can begin to pay to be a part. And so we're in communication, but really what I'm here tonight to do is to ask for your help. You know, just us as the board, we have day jobs, you know, we have kids in school, we have things going on, and so we want to help with this, but what we really need is we need people from the community to help us do the legwork during the day, to be the kind of the hands and feet of getting this organization back up on its feet. Because here's what I know is this community is full of a lot of good people, and this community is full of a lot of amazing churches, and there's a lot of awesome people that really want to help, and if we just come together, we could do something amazing. I really believe that we could see this thing go beyond what it ever was in the past. We really believe in transparency and community involvement, community input, community collaboration. We want to get together a group of people, representatives from each church that are going to be a part of helping in Family Promise, to be a part of the communication so that everybody knows what's going on, so that every church knows and has input and can go back and talk to their pastors and can inform them of what's going on, and they can bring ideas and we can all come up with solutions together. I want to thank Kathy Babbert for getting this together, really, because you know, she called my wife and I, and we were just kind of like, what are we gonna do here? We need so much help, we don't know where to start. And thank you so much for getting this together, because I really believe that this is going to be the beginnings of what's going to be able to turn into the ministry for the homeless, that's going to really help all the needs that we know are out there, especially this time of year. You know, short term, our goal is to provide shelter for families, for children, but long term, being a part of Family Promise, they really offer a lot of amazing resources to help families get down payments for homes, to find homes. There's all kinds of resources that we can connect with to help these families, not just in the short term. And I'm so thankful for you guys stepping out and offering something immediately, because we do need that right now. When it comes to children and families, though, there's a lot more I's that need to be dotted, T's that need to be crossed, so we have to really be intentional on how we do this, so that when we open things up and we actually hire a director, that we're not just paying them and nothing's happening. Like, we really want to have the biggest bang for our buck, if you know what I mean. We take seriously people's time and their input and their financial resources, and so we want to set this up the right way so that when we get moving, we can hit the ground running, help as many people as possible, and do it right. And so I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Anybody got any questions? Yes.
During the day, what would a volunteer do?
Well, right now, there's all kinds of administrative stuff that needs to happen. There's things that, there's paperwork that needs to be gone through that needs to match up with how Family Promise is recommending things are set up. So we need people to help to make sure those things are right. You know, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted in the administrative side of things. Was there something that you wanted to?
Well, what we were talking about earlier is Family Hope. Family Hope out. We had a long meeting before tonight, so I think what we need to communicate with you is the organization is not on solid footing right now. It needs to be on solid footing with good financial practices, legally, liability, everything needs to be in place before it serves families.
Yeah.
So don't be anxious to, okay, let me come to the day center and start serving families. That's not what Matt's talking about, okay? Let's get things in order. Let's get things in place. Let's rebuild some relationships so that when you sign on to help, you're signing on with a nice, solid organization that has a rebuilt reputation, okay?
Yeah,
does that help, Matt?
right.
Does that help
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah, and to kind of clarify, like we do need help, and I'm glad that you clarified that, because we don't need help serving families tomorrow. We need help getting the organization where it needs to be so we can serve families. And so what that would look like is we're going to pass around a sign-up sheet. And if you guys would like to get more information about helping, we can get your information and we will get a hold of you, and then we can talk specifically with you ways that you can help us get to that next place. Yes, sir.
I hope that tonight we'll be able to get a commitment to help you in the foundational setup of Family Hope, and also for Genesis. And I hope before we leave, we can get a commitment from everybody here who wants to commit to that. My question to you is, do you have in mind for Family Hope to be a rotational, or will it be a fixed location?
Well, it would have to start out as rotational because in order to be a static site, you would need to have the property and all the insurances and the staffing that would be needed. It's actually quite a large monetary amount of money that would need to be raised to do that. But we have really right now what we need in this room probably to immediately jump into the rotational setup.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Nowhere on this sheet is there contact information for you or Wes Dove, who presumably are the only 2 members on the board?
No, actually, we have 3 board members here tonight, and 4 board members, sorry, here tonight, and there's, what? Yeah, so there's 2 that are here. Yes.
Okay, so we have no list of board members, we have no contact phone numbers. Could we have a phone number for Genesis, a phone number for EB Center?
Yeah, we can make sure that we can.
Sure.
Yep.
So when we talk about next steps, I wrote that down because thank you for bringing that to our attention. We have to make sure that everybody has all of the contact information. Awesome.
And we will be passing around a sign up too, so we'll make sure that if you let us know that you would like to be a part in the future of helping, we'll make sure that you get all the information that we have available. Yes, ma'am.
So how many board members are there, and what are the names of the board members?
Okay, so right now, myself, Matt Jones, Wes Dove, Jess Jones, Pat, and then the other 2 board members, Bree Tabbitt and Jamie Nichols, and they're not here tonight. They're new board members, and we're actually wanting to build our team, and so we would love to get a few more board members, but really more than that, we really want to get a representative or maybe a couple representatives from each church that wants to be a part and begin to get together as a group and talk about how we can do this thing together. We want everybody to be a part of the process. We want this thing to be completely transparent and everybody to be a part of it. Because we can't do this thing without you guys, so we definitely want all of your input and your voices heard. Anybody else?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly share what happened to Family Hope Outreach that it disintegrated?
Okay, well, the best I can, because really when we came on, it was kind of in its final stages, honestly. And so we only knew what we were told. Long story short, people didn't get along and there was a lot of miscommunication and then people's feelings got hurt and everybody parted ways. That's kind of a long story short. And then we were brought on to kind of help get it back on its feet. But by the time my wife and I came on, they had already made the decision to part ways with Family Promise, which I didn't know if that was a good idea or not, but that was already decided. And so the more I've learned about Family Promise, the more I've talked with Lindsay, is the more I realize that probably should have never happened, that they should have stayed connected. But you know, it is what it is. So we're going to move forward. We're going to do what's right from this point forward. And the people that were a part of all that kind of disintegrating, none of them are a part of the organization anymore. So we're really starting fresh. The only person that's still here that was here during all that is Pat. But she told me today, she said, you know, the Lord just blessed me because whenever there was problems, I mysteriously wasn't there. So I'm glad I wasn't. She said, the Lord protected me. The Lord just kind of But you know, I mean, if you guys, a lot of you guys are from churches in here, you know how involved ministry is by itself. And so, you know, my wife and I, we pastor a church, you know, we want to help so much to get this problem solved in this community, but we absolutely can't do it without your guys' help. You know, we have, there's a lot of need going around, right, this time of year especially, and we want to see this done right. And we do know that there's enough people in this community and enough amazing churches here that if we'll just kind of come together and all be a part of this and not try to keep anybody out, but just bring everybody in, that we can get this thing done and done well.
I just want to say one quick thing.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out the nature of the relationship with the Family Promise National Organization to each of its local affiliates. We are a national, of course, nonprofit, but each local affiliate holds its own 501c3. So they have its own board, they have its own finances, fundraising, and we come at the request of the board for training, engagement, and we provide many, many, many opportunities for engagement. But the level of a relationship is predicated on the invitation. So while we have strict standards of affiliation and understanding, we can only be very present and engaged when we are invited to the table. So going forward, we have a lot of new table members, and so we hope that the conversation will change direction. So I want to be clear about that each affiliate has its own 501c3 and they are autonomous.
And so yeah, our desire is to bring them to the table and help us, because we see the good things that Family Promise has not only done around the nation, but the help that they can bring in being able to not only organize a shelter for families, but to help these families after they leave to be successful in life. A lot of good resources there. And I think I've heard it said before, why reinvent the wheel, right? If somebody's doing it and doing it well, then why not partner with them, learn from them, and let them help us do it right? Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a question, but just know that while we're waiting for all these wonderful things to happen, we really only have one shelter in town, which is ours. I'm Kim Hemker from the Branch County Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. And I have bronchitis, so I'm sorry I might lose those. But I just want to tell you that that is just for domestic and sexual violence survivors. So know, though, that people get dropped in front of our shelter all the time. And we are trying to find them places with the help of all of you. And we're so grateful that this is going to turn around, because even when Family Promise was active, we still didn't have enough room. So it's great that we have other opportunities here. But while we're in the process of all this, we all need to help each other, right? So there is still resources that are needed. So we are doing a Project Connect through our continuum of care, which is the homeless folks still need to be counted once a year, because without the count of who's homeless, we don't get funding into our community. So we are still doing this. We're going to do it at the Coach Evie Center. If there's agencies that want to get involved, we have that. And so I have some flyers. It's on January 29th in the evening. And then also during the afternoon, we're doing something called a poverty simulation. So many of us see this on a daily basis of people that are in poverty, but not everyone does. So when someone says, well, why don't they just get a job? They don't know all the other barriers that are in our community, right? So this allows them, in a little short term, allows all of you to understand what people in poverty go through, and we are providing that free of charge. We invested in the kit. We have, Vanessa and I are both trained in it, and so we are going to offer that to the community several times. So we hope that you will share that with all of your affiliates and those kind of things. We've left 278 safe cars. We are, we're the only county, I think, in Michigan now that doesn't have 211. Instead, you all have us. You have 278 safe. So 278 safe is where you can call when you need resources. We have no money, okay? So we have no money, but we can, and the cards are right over there. And as you gain back Family Promise, Family Hope Outreach, Genesis Center, all those things, those can be added to those cards once everything gets back in order. And those are your resources, and we've written grants to be able to hand those out by the handful. So if you need them in your churches and your facilities, take them, because we want to give people the resources that they need. And on our website, the 278safe.com website, are those resources. So everything that's on there and more, when they call, you guys all can just go to that website and look for current resources. And if there isn't something there, tell us so that we can put the right thing on there. So we can only do this as a team, but for right now, we still get all the calls. So we want to move forward, but we want to do it well. And know that we do have all the training that you're going to need, darkness to light training, when you said you have to get things in place with kids and families, things that you need to watch for safety. All free of charge. Just tell us you need the training. We will be at your church. We will be at your agency. So let us know. All right?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So the goal, really is to get relationships connected again between the churches so that we can get a schedule together, we can get a plan together, we can have our resources together, we can have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed when it comes to, the legality issues, because, again, dealing with children and families, there's just things that need to be set up properly. So what it looks like is getting all that set back in order so that we can launch this thing right and begin to help people as soon as possible. And so the quicker that we can get people to jump on board with us to help us with those things, and trust me, if you'll give us your information tonight, we'll get a hold of you and you'll be able to start helping us fairly soon. We can get going on this thing and start to help some families.
All right. If we have more questions, we can still take those in the next few minutes. But I would like to turn us, as Matt really did, towards what are we going to do next. One of the things that was mentioned was to sign up and make a commitment. So I have sign-up sheets here from Genesis Outreach Ministries is one of them. If you're interested in helping Paul Pope with what he is working on Hudson Street. Family Hope Outreach, if you're interested in helping Matt get these things organized so we can move forward, that would be great. If nobody's interested at this table, you can just pass the paper on to another table. So those are the only two sign-up sheets I've got up here. Was there another one? Yeah, EB Center. There we go. That was the other one. If you'd like to work with the EB Center. So in terms of next steps, let's find out who's committed to do what. We've got these sign-up sheets, and so let's make commitments to help these organizations. So commit to help. Something else that was mentioned, Susan said, we need contact information going out to everybody. So in some way we need to make sure that email addresses and addresses of places, right?
Did everybody sign in?
Right, so make sure that you have signed in so that we have that contact information and then we can send that out. Paul?
I'm going to put some flyers. I already have some up there. Flyers with our contact information, stuff that we still need. I only have a few left, I've already gone, but I have them up there on that table if anybody wants them. So the flyers are already up there. I'll put these up there now. So.
I'm out of school. This is my son-in-law, my daughter. I'm so proud of them, and what they've taken upon them to do. That's for a homeless shelter here in town. If you walk out in the parking lot, you just look right across the street over there on the corner, you'll see where it's at, Genesis Outreach Ministries. I know what they're doing because I've been over there every know something. I've seen them take the last penny out of their pocket to buy stuff for that building. We're in so much of need of finances there.
Norm, let's say we use the people are not hearing some of what you're saying.
And I thought I had a big mouth. I've been told that before. I'm also a preacher. And I want you to know something. We are in so much of a need. We have a roof leak over there. The roof is this deep. I used to do roofing, but there's no way I'm going to climb up on that one. Not without a bucket to hold me up there. But the roof is leaking so bad. The second floor up top, they've had to take all the stuff off of most of the ceiling and most of the, well, 2 walls. And we've got to have drywall in order to put back up there, but we've got to get the roof fixed first. We've had a few guys say, well, we'll come out and do it. Roofing companies. They come out there and take a look, and they said, well, this is a lot more, cost a lot more than what we thought it was going to cost. We can't do it.
We got a quote today for just a patch job. He said it's going to be paid $300 for it. We had a guy come out today just to do a patch job on it until the summer where we can actually take the roof all the way down and put a metal roof on it. He said it's going to cost between $300 to $1,000 to fix the roof just because it sat so long and they, you know, they hadn't done nothing with the building. So, I mean, I know we're going to open. I know the funds are going to come. And I plan on being open in 2 weeks, so we got a lot of work to do.
I think Habitat for Humanity would be a good invite, so that they can talk about the Family Hope Building and the Genesis. But inviting them to be part of this would be a very good resource.
Well, what he's talking about on the roof there is just one little section. Actually, the whole entire roof needs to be redone. This building is such an older building, but it's been trying to take care of it. I know the furnace has been off for a year, pretty much. The water pipes in the basement have frozen and busted. In fact, I've been down there working on them, and I put a new shut-off valve on one of them today in front of the meter, so it'd be easy to get to and shut off, and we had the water turned back on. As soon as you turn the water on, I'm down there hollering, shut it off, shut it off! The bottom of that meter was just so busted, water was pouring out all over the place. Thank the good Lord, the right man came to turn the water on. Because his van is the one who had the water meters in it. And he was able to get one and bring it in and change it. So we do have water set up there. But as part of financial, we need help a lot there. So if you could, please donate. Thank you.
And where is the Genesis sign-up sheet right now? Okay, all right. We can keep that going around.
Have you approached the business community, like for instance Home Depot, to see whether they would be able to help?
We have been all over the place looking. Every day we go out trying to find places that can help donate. So far, we've had a doctor donate. He said, you know, give me some time, that I'm going to go around and talk to all the rest of the doctors and get them to donate too, which is good. But this is the same doctor who is offered to, if anybody comes in there who is sick and needs help, we can take them to that doctor and they're going to take care of them free of charge.
Has Home Depot offered any assistance?
What Home Depot said is we got to fill out the application. It's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for that to come back. And that's great, you know, if they help in 4 to 6 weeks, but the need is now. A lot of people were business, they want to donate, it's sitting, we had cars, people said they want to donate, like right after Christmas, they said they've been hit so much that, you know, they just don't have the funds right now, wait a couple months and come back.
Okay, so where is the Genesis sign-up sheet? Okay, so get your name on that, okay? Got some ideas about it. Where is the EB Center sign-up sheet?
Here.
Okay, So if you're interested, and the Family Hope sign-up sheet is where? Right now, over here at this table, everybody's taking their time signing up. Wonderful. Okay, so what else? As a group, what else do you think we need to do for next steps? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's not the next step. I take the question, who owns the day house, the day center? Who owns it?
Sunshine House, there was a question up there about that, about the Sunshine House. Who has information about the Sunshine House? Is it still operational? Who can talk about it? Who? Yeah, there was a question about that.
Yeah, what was the question?
Does Family Hope own that building?
Yes, yes.
Who owns it, and is it still operational?
Yeah, it is. We're not running, so there's no families in it right now. But yeah, it's still. Yep. Yep.
Okay. And I do have a question for Genesis. What is your capacity?
For the warming center, we got a full size, so we could probably hold 300 people homeless in there for the warming center. Upstairs down, I got a full 2 stories, so.
Now that'll be probably addressed at the city.
Yeah, right. The warming center, as I said, I got a meeting on the 20th with the city of Coldwater. They've already approved the warming center. We just got to get like the smoke detectors and stuff in there, so that's already been approved.
And the fire inspector
Right.
will tell you what your
Right,
capacity
and there's no come in and let me know everything. I've been trying to contact the fire inspector for 2 days, but he's been kind of busy, so he'll get back with me this week. And then on the house, they'll tell me on that one too. So, we got to jump through a lot of hoops to get it going, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. We got a big building, and we got a lot of people that are willing to put their time and effort into it. So.
Thank you. Lots of pieces here tonight.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
I was curious, do you take private donations from churches?
And who are you talking about? There's
Okay,
a lot of different groups here.
I understand. I guess my question is, I'm curious, has there been anyone designated for the purpose of maybe contacting different churches within the community that may not have a whole lot of information on you guys' particular needs? Because like the church that we're part of, I'm pretty sure that if they had the proper information, they would be more inclined to offer some monetary help. So I guess my question is there any effort being made to put more information out to the churches within the community to give them a chance to be more enlightened as to what you're trying to do here?
That's what we're doing here tonight. That's why we have started this outreach program in its entirety. Sign up on that sheet for Genesis and we will get more information out. This newsletter, that the names that we have here, everybody will be put on an email contact list based on who's here tonight.
So one of the things like Home Depot, though, I'm not sure if you might already have this, but you need a solicitation license, you need to be able to do some things with fundraising, you have to have all those legalities in place before you can really go out to the public and ask for money. So that could be some holdup. So I think, again, for you guys too, is making sure all the ducks in a row with all your paperwork.
And that's why I'm trying to contact all the people that I've been in contact with you, I've been in contact with Habitat for Humanity, and I'm learning as I go because a lot of this is new to me. I've been involved with it for a while, but a lot of this is actually new to me doing it all myself. So, we've come a long way, but hey, if we're going to get it open, so we need to get dedicated to it.
So we're asking you to make a commitment to one of the groups here, and we're going to give all the contact information out to all of you, and you can send it out to other people that are not with us tonight. The group, we talked at the beginning, or before this meeting, there was a leadership group that talked about having a next a meeting, but we want some work to take place before that. As it was said at the previous meeting, you know, talk is great, but action is what we need to do. So we were thinking maybe sometime later in April, we might be able to get back as a community, find out what's been going on with the different groups. So between now and then, commit to help. We don't have a sign-up sheet for what you're doing, but what was the name of your group again?
Forgotten Man Ministry.
Forgotten Man Ministry. So if that's something that you would like some muscle with,
We just need places to put homeless people.
places to put them. Excellent. Okay, hang in there with us, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Do we have are there any fundraisers coming up to help Family Promise or Family Hope Outreach?
So I was handed some money just a little bit ago that goes to Genesis. So I would like to start a collection of money there. I'm sure that anybody here would take a donation.
Can I address that?
You bet.
So we really felt like before we start asking for money, the most important thing is to get everybody connected and on the same page relationally. Because, I mean, we can ask for money, but we need the people right now. We need people to get together, churches to come together. We need to get organized. We need to get everybody on the same page before we start asking, for finances. So that's the plan, though. We do plan to do fundraisers, but once we get the group of churches together that are agreeing to, we're going to be the rotation. Now let's together move forward and do these fundraisers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
I've got another question. Is there an update on what Damascus Road Ministries might be doing in the community? Does anybody know that?
Do we have a representative here or somebody that can speak to it?
Well, Randy's taking my place in the jail tonight, so he couldn't be here.
Oh, okay.
But I don't feel comfortable talking about his ministry, so.
So that might be somebody that we want to pull back into this.
Tommy's house.
They're closed.
Those are drug and alcohol rehabilitation centers.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Here, Les.
He wants to make that into a female rehabilitation center. It's not going to be, it's going to be Medicaid funded. So it wouldn't, like a person that's homeless wouldn't qualify unless they have a drug problem, which a lot of them do have. But that's what has to happen with it first.
What are you talking about?
He does have Damascus Road
Yes.
out between Princeton and Coldwater right now.
Yes, he has a men's halfway house right now. So.
Can I speak on that? I just had a meeting with Randy actually the other day, and we had a meeting because I used to be involved in this program too. But actually, when he said that he wanted to do something, he said he wanted to do something with the homeless, but with them working on the recovery aspect of it right now, they just don't have the funds for that. But they just got 2 new houses and they're turning this into a recovery for women, which is also needed. It's needed in the community. And so he's very much agrees with that we need to open something. He's behind us 100%. But he just is going more towards recovery because people are dying out there every day over addiction. So that's another big step.
So yeah, so many pieces.
Right.
Just so many pieces. Is there anything else that people would like for next steps or a question?
Yes, next steps, will the 5 members of the board for Family Promise Hope be meeting to lay foundational structures again?
Oh, we've been doing that. Yep, that's
Okay.
what we're doing right now.
Okay,
Yep.
so there is someone putting those pieces together.
We just need more help. Yep, that's what we're
All
hoping
right.
to get tonight, yeah.
Okay, and so does that become a step that by the next meeting, all the foundational steps will be finished, or there will be progress?
Really, that depends on what kind of input we get tonight from everybody here. It depends on how many people are going to jump on board to help us move forward. So, yeah, that would be the plan. We would definitely love to have all that accomplished by the next meeting.
All right, and secondly, for the gentleman in the red plaid shirt in the back who talks about Turning Point, no one had said to you apparently that Family Promise Hope has sent out letters in the past to all the churches in the county asking for donations. Our church made a donation early this year or late in December. I was given a place, I was given the post office box again as to that's where the check should go. I'm assuming that there's a treasurer who accepted that check and deposited it and things, because I was assured that would be. Okay, so there have been letters sent out to all the churches and apparently 2 individuals also asking for money. So yes, sir, there are people looking for money to help Family Promise Hope.
So I have as a step up here to commit to help, wherever it is that you feel you are called to help. And financially could be one of those. I'm sure that any of these groups would take money, especially Paul tonight, to fix that roof, okay, in his hand. He's got started. Sign-up sheets.
We'll have them on the table so no one leaves before you have a chance, okay? Rather than getting them stuck in.
And we will get
right here.
contact information out to everyone in this group. And we will plan sometime after Easter, not the week after Easter to all the pastors in this room, but late in April, come back and have some kind of a community meeting again. Is there anything else that you think should be done between now and then?
Prayers.
We need to pray. Excellent. Thank you, Terry. Thank you all for coming. I'm sure that the people, talk amongst yourselves. If you still have questions, I'm sure Lindsay would be glad to talk with you about Family Promise or anybody else here. So, thank you so much. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.